shall we begin?
Let the games begin.
All right.
A new age has begun. An age of freedom.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Get to the chopper!
This is going to be quite the ride.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Whippet Podcast. I am your host, Christian Renteria, and this is the podcast where we usually talk about the big movie news items, the big trailers, and the movies that are coming out in theaters this weekend and streaming for all your viewing pleasures. I have not done a podcast in quite some time, and I apologize for that. That is me not being able to, there's no excuse. Really, at the end of the day, there is no excuse. So I apologize for that. That is all on me. But I did release a podcast. I don't think I actually put it anywhere that there was a podcast out. Very short, telling you kind of how the podcast is going to change a little bit for at least right now, the foreseeable future. The gist of it is that I'm limiting down trailer talk. I'm probably only really be talking about one trailer from now on, or maybe two if they're really big. But this week we're just going to focus on one. There was a lot of trailers that came out this week. So trailer talk is the trailer. I'll still link the trailers down below in the description/show notes area for all of you guys to go watch them, because there was a lot of trailers that dropped this week. And it's just, right, especially now, right now at the time when I'm recording this, I'm kind of in a little bit of a crunch. But I wanted to get a podcast out this week because it's been so long, and I don't want, to go weeks and weeks without a podcast. So I wanted to do a podcast this week. So yeah, the gist of what the podcast is going to change. Movie news wise, a lot of things are going to be very selective. I think I mentioned I was going to be very picky when it came to certain news items. So there is that. And then, of course, all the trailers that are coming out, I'm going to focus on one or two. There was a lot of good trailers this week. Don't get me wrong. But there's one trailer, obviously, that came out this week that everyone's talking about, and that's what we're going to start off with. And then I'm still keeping, obviously, all the movies that are coming out in theaters this weekend. So the idea is to make the podcast a little shorter so I can knock out these podcasts out and actually get them done and released on, the timetable that I wanted to. But let's hope that happens. So let's get to it. Let's just go right into it and talk about the first movie news item of the week, which is our spotlight trailer of the week. And that is, of course, the first trailer for Damien Chazelle's newest film, Babylon. That came out this week, and people have opinions. This trailer, when it came out very early in the week. Everyone had an opinion on what this movie was going to be. So the movie is set in old Hollywood, where the landscape is about to change from silent films to the talkies. Although you don't really get that in the trailer. So there is that. This movie is jam-packed to the gills with big names: Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Olivia Wilde, Tobey Maguire, Samara Weaving, Catherine Waterstone, Flea, Max Magnolia, Gene Smart, and just so many more people are part of the cast. And this is Damien Chazelle's first movie. Of course, he directed La La Land and Whiplash. This is his first movie since 2018's First Man, which of course was the one with Ryan Gosling when he went to space. But this thing looks absolutely crazy. And I did not watch it when it first came out. I didn't avoid it, but I just missed out on it when it first came out. So I watched it literally not the day before. That's not possible. The day after it came out. And I could see what people were saying, because this thing is absolutely crazy. It starts off with Margot Robbie talking to one of the main characters in the movie as well. He's a newcomer in Hollywood. I forgot to mark down his name, but he's one of the newcomers into the cast, and it looks like he's going to play one of the main characters alongside Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt. But they're just talking about some really mundane things, and I think Margot Robbie's under the influence of a lot of things in that scene. It looks like she's going to be under the influence of a lot in this movie, because she looks just bat crazy in this movie. No pun intended to her playing Harley Quinn, but yeah, she looks absolutely nuts in this movie. And Brad Pitt, I think so. Like I mentioned, the idea is that the Hollywood's going through the change from the silent movies to, of course, the talkies, as they were called back in the day. But I think Brad Pitt is the silent actor, and then Margot Robbie is the new actor who's going to be, the face of the talkie movies. And I think that's kind of the idea of what we're going. I think that's kind of the idea of what it is, because there's that scene in the movie where with Gene Smart, where I don't know if she's playing head of a studio or maybe she's playing Brad Pitt's agent, manager, but she's telling Brad Pitt saying that, when I first came into Hollywood, there was a sign on every store that said no dogs, no actors, and he changed that. So obviously he's a really big deal, and I think they are inspired by people old-time actors in Hollywood. So they are inspired by actual people. Probably just the idea of them, not necessarily the actors themselves, but they're inspired by, those old-time actors that were obviously very popular at that time. But it looks like Brad Pitt's like the old guard and Margot Robbie's the new guard, and Brad Pitt's just trying to, keep, stay with it and be relevant. This thing is crazy. So I think there's two versions of the trailer out there. I saw the uncensored version because it looks like there was a big-ass party at one point. And there's like elephants involved, and it's like a themed party at some point. I don't know. This trailer is absolutely crazy. There is no words to describe this trailer other than crazy and bonkers. And people have had many opinions. People are saying that this is, Damien Chazelle, his big risk in Hollywood, because this movie costs a lot. Paramount invested a lot in this movie, and they are invested in Damien Chazelle and the cast, because I think this thing is like over $100 million or something along those lines. So Paramount's going in big for this, and they're hoping that this is a success, and they're hoping that obviously Chazelle can bring in that success that he brought in from Whiplash, from La La Land, from even First Man, and bring that in, and along with the cast. And you got Margot Robbie, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, one of the biggest female stars in Hollywood in general. Brad Pitt, obviously. Olivia Wilde, I didn't see her in the trailer. I know she's in the cast, but I didn't really see her in the trailer. Tobey Maguire's in there, obviously. Samara Weaving's in there. Gene Smart, obviously killing it on the TV game right now. This thing is crazy. It is bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. There's no other way to describe this trailer. So it is an uncensored trailer because it does look like there's going to be some nakedness in this movie. So just be aware of that from the trailer. So Babylon will have a limited release on Christmas Day, aka December 25th, for those who don't celebrate Christmas, but will open wide next year on January 6th, 2023. Obviously, that is, a very big thing in Hollywood, and obviously that is something that the Oscars like to do as well. So will Babylon be an Oscar favorite? Who knows? Will it be a fan favorite? That's another question, obviously, because a lot of people don't like Damien Chazelle because of La La Land. But I'm looking forward to it. I didn't know what to expect from the movie, to be honest. It wasn't this. I was not expecting this. Well, let's see what happens with that. So there you go. So that was your trailer spotlight for the week with Babylon. Obviously, there's a lot of other big trailers that came out this week that you guys should definitely go check out. All of them are linked down below. But like I mentioned, just want to streamline this podcast as much as possible so I can knock these out and get them out quick for you guys, so there's no weeks without podcasts anymore. Let's move on to the movie news. Let's talk about the first movie news item. The much anticipated Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, has found its writer in Jeff Loveness, who coincidentally wrote Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which will see the return of Kang after the season finale of Loki, but making his big screen debut in that movie, who is going to be played once again by Jonathan Majors. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty will be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who of course directed Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, and currently has a release date of May 2nd, 2025. That's pretty cool. So they're obviously moving a little forward on that. You got a director, you got a writer now. Obviously, have to wait to see how everything plays out. Obviously, bringing back one of the writers who was responsible for Kang, and we've been hearing these things that Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania is going to be a shift in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially when it comes to the next Avengers movie, which is the Kang Dynasty. So that'd be pretty interesting. Let's stick with Disney a little bit. Coming off D23, Disney announced a lot of big named projects, and many of them were just that. They were just announcements, little things here and there. But it was days after, obviously, the big event that Disney has finally put some dates on those projects, while also moving an already announced movie around that one was, of course, The Haunted Mansion. They moved that back from its March 10th date of next year to later in the year, in the summer, on August 11th of next year. So Haunted Mansion is still coming out next year, just coming out a little later. Also next year is Taika Waititi's soccer drama, Next Goal Wins. That will be coming out through Fox Searchlight Pictures, but that will be coming out next year, finally, on April 21st. Now, all the other movies will be coming out on 2024. So the first one is Pixar's alien-themed movie Elio, which will open on March 1st. Disney's live-action Snow White, which will open the same month on March 22nd. Inside Out 2 from Pixar will open on June 14th. And Mufasa, The Lion King, will open on July 5th of 2024. Yes, they are making a Mufasa movie, in case you did not catch up with the Disney or the D23 news. When it comes to the Star Wars franchise, Disney has officially removed Rogue Squadron from the calendar. There was rumors that was going to happen. It looked like that was going to happen, but they have officially removed it. This was going to be the movie directed by Patty Jenkins. It was also going to be the first Star Wars movie after The Rise of Skywalker, but they delayed that early this year, and now they've officially removed it from this year. So unfortunately, we won't get that. In the meantime, though, we do have 2 untitled Star Wars movies that hit the calendar, December 19th, 2025 and December 17th, 2027 are the other 2. No word on who... on what those projects are. Obviously, Taika Waititi has a project over there. Rian Johnson also has some projects, but I think this is too early for that Rian Johnson project. But was it Rian Johnson? I think it was Rian. Yeah, it was Rian Johnson. But one of them might be the Taika Waititi one. Who knows? But we'll have to obviously wait and see. We're many years. We're not many years, but we're pretty. We're a little. It's a little early to start speculating and to start seeing all that. The already announced video game adaptation of Gran Turismo has added 2 names to the cast, and David Harbour and Archie Madeke, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He is part of the Apple TV series C, the one with Jason Momoa. If you haven't checked that out, I saw the first season, really good. Haven't seen season 2 yet, but season 3 is already out, so I'll have to get on that. The movie will be directed by Neil Blomkamp, who of course directed District 9 and Chappie, with the script being done by Jason Hall, one of the writers on American Sniper, and Zach Balin, one of the writers on King Richard. The movie will take a meta approach to telling its story, since the video games themselves don't actually have a storyline in them. The movie will take the true story of a teenage Gran Turismo player who competed in the Nissan-sponsored competition to become a professional race car driver. Harbour will play the retired driver, while Madeke will play the young teen that is obviously being sponsored, or not sponsored, but mentored by David Harbour's character. Gran Turismo will start shooting next week for its planned release next year for August 11th. We're going to be going a little Elvis crazy because Sofia Coppola, the director, of course, of Lost in Translation, The Beguiled, and Maria Antoinette, The Bling Ring, of course, another one she directed, is set to write and direct Elvis and Me for not just any old studio, no, for A24. The movie is based off the memoir by Priscilla Presley, aka Elvis's ex-wife. Not only that, the movie has its leads in Kaylee Spaney from Bad Times in the Air Royale, Pacific Rim Uprising, and recently she's been in some pretty big TV series like Mayor of Easttown and The First Lady, where she actually played Eleanor Roosevelt. And she'll be playing Priscilla, and playing Elvis in that movie is Jacob Elordi. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name, but he's in HBO's Euphoria, so any fans out there will probably know who I'm talking about. So he's playing Elvis in the movie. The memoir tells Priscilla's side of their marriage with Elvis when they first met, which I didn't know this. I don't know why I didn't know this, but I didn't know this, and I guess this is true. Priscilla was 14 and Elvis was 24. Different times back then. To their rocky relationship, their suspected affairs, or at least Elvis's suspected affairs, Elvis's drug abuse, and their divorce, along with much more. So no word on when production will start, but you got a pretty big name, obviously, in Sofia Coppola directing and writing the movie based off the memoir by the woman herself, which I'm sure she will be involved in some way, shape, or form. And you have 2 big names, or at least 2, big young names in talks to get that out. So that's pretty cool. Moving on to the next movie news item, Lionsgate announced this week that production has started on the remake of The Strangers. Yes, I said remake of The Strangers. When it will not just be one movie, it will be a trilogy. Plus, the remake has a director in tow in Rennie Harlin, the director of movies like Cliffhanger, Die Hard 2, The Long Kiss Goodnight, and horror movies Deep Blue Sea and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And we'll have stars in Madeline Petch, I think that's how you pronounce the last name. She's in this Riverdale for CW, and Froy Gutierrez from the TV series Teen Wolf. He was also in the TV series Cruel Summer. He's also going to be in the upcoming Hocus Pocus 2. All those people are involved. This was a continuation of the story that came out a couple months ago, or a few months ago, that there was going to be a new Strangers trilogy. Although this is the first time, obviously, this week with the announcement that it's set as a remake. We do have a synopsis for the projects, which is really cool. So Petch's character drives across country with her longtime boyfriend to begin a new life in the Pacific Northwest. When their car breaks down in Venice, Oregon, they are forced to spend the night in a secluded Airbnb where they are terrorized from dusk till dawn by 3 masked strangers. The idea is that from that, the filmmakers they bring in will expand the story in, quote, new and unexpected ways over 3 films. So given that statement, it does sound like maybe Harlan isn't directing all 3 movies, or if he is, he'll probably be involved in some way, shape or form, whether not necessarily as a director, maybe as a producer or something like that. So, but bringing in Rennie Harlin in general is pretty crazy. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure Lionsgate won't mind if he directs all of them, because it is Rennie Harlin. He does bring a certain, obviously he does bring a certain, he brings his name with him. He brings a certain, gravity to him, being, who he is and what he's directed in everything. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I really like the first Strangers movie. I actually like both Strangers movies. I like the first Strangers movie. I like the second one, even if the second one is like a way different kind of tone from the first one. But considering what they did with the second one, it would have been, I don't know, I'd say it would have been harder to do a sequel off that. But going this way, going the remake route, not just one remake, a trilogy already set to announce. That's pretty crazy. So they have already started production on that, it seems like. So we're going to be getting these movies sooner rather than later. I'm pretty excited, I guess. I don't know if I'm super excited, but I am interested in seeing why they went the route they did instead of just going, the sequel route or anything along those lines. So, all right. Moving on to the final movie news item of the week. This is actually connected to one of the movies that will be coming out this week. Talk about segues. A24 released a teaser movie announcement for the third X movie after their first movie, X, which came out earlier this year. And their upcoming Pearl, which itself is a prequel to X, came out. It's going to come out this week. It already had its premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival. The third movie in the trilogy is now titled MaXXXine, and that is MaXXXine with 3 X's in the middle, all capitalized, and will bring back the face of the trilogy, pretty much, Mia Goth. Goth played MaXXXine and was under the old woman makeup in X, played the young Pearl in Pearl, and will come back to play MaXXXine yet again in the third movie. Goth will also now have an executive producer tag to her name here. Like I mentioned, the prequel Pearl premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival this weekend, where writer-director Ty West said filming has not yet begun, but having the announcement teaser makes it seem like this could happen sooner rather than later. That's just my opinion and how things like this usually work out. He also said the movie is thematically inspired by the VHS boom in the 80s, with MaXXXine being set in LA during the 80s, and will focus on MaXXXine as she continues on her journey seeking fame as an actress in Hollywood, especially considering the events that happened after the events of X. What am I trying to say? I think I put the word I wanted to use a little before I wanted to use it. Anyway, I'm not having a stroke, I promise. But yeah, there you go. This is pretty cool. Obviously, there was a teaser trailer that surprised a lot of people after X came out that they were going to do a Pearl movie. And now, I guess, I don't know if it was the same way, but I guess, that teaser appeared after Pearl came out, I guess. I don't know. But it came out online. I know the Pearl teaser took a while to come online after X came out, but they put that for MaXXXine right away. So I think they know, I think A24 knows, and I think Ty West knows that they have a hit on their hands. They have a hit trilogy potentially on their hands, because a lot of good things have been coming out about Pearl the same way that a lot of good things were coming about X. Pearl, once again, people are praising Mia Goth in Pearl. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Pearl now, especially knowing that we're getting this third movie, even with the bounce back of times, that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. So that is all pretty cool. I also saw this week that they were doing a casting search. So if you want to be in MaXXXine, I don't have the website in front of me. I'll put it in the description area if you want to give it a go. I guess they're having like a process or auditions online that you can send something in, and you can potentially be in MaXXXine if that's the route you want to go. So that's pretty cool. That's it. Those are all the movie news items, at least at the time of this recording, that came out. Obviously, I'll try to keep everything updated as much as possible up on the Twitter page if I can, but we'll obviously keep an eye out on movie news, because that's what I do. All right, so let's move on from the movie news to the movies that are coming out in theaters and streaming for all your viewing pleasures.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right, as always, we're going to talk about some of the streaming movies that are coming out on streamers this weekend. The first one is Do Revenge, Revenge, which will be coming out on Netflix. Drea, played by Camila Mendez, who is part of the Riverdale show on CW, and Eleanor, played by Maya Hawke, agreed to go after one another's bullies after both of them have suffered some major embarrassment. So, this came out. I saw the trailer for this when it first came out. I wasn't too excited about it. I know, I can see why, people will get excited about this, but I don't know. I saw the trailer and I was like, I don't know. I mean, it could be good. Don't get me wrong. Could be very good. Maya Hawke's very, very good in everything she's in, given the right material. I haven't really seen a lot of Camila Mendes, to be honest. I don't watch Riverdale, so I only know her that she's on Riverdale. I haven't actually seen her in a lot of things. I did see her in, was it Palm Springs, which she plays the sister in the movie. But for her, seeing her stuff, I haven't really seen her stuff. But movie looks okay. No, you're not gonna lie. So there's that, Through Revenge. And then on Prime Video, we have a remake of the 2014 Austrian film of the same name, Goodnight Mommy. It is a horror movie, in case, that title fools you. Twin brothers, Cameron and Nicholas Corvette. One of the brothers, I think it's Cameron, is the son of Homelander in The Boys. So he's one of them. They arrive at their mother's house. The mother, played by Naomi Watts, begins to suspect that something isn't right with their mother. So I've always heard good things about the original movie, and I just haven't had a chance to watch it. So I'm planning on fixing that very soon, because I want to watch the original before I watch this remake, because obviously I want to see the changes they made or didn't make or whatever. So there is that. And you want to get your Halloween movie or horror movie watching early, you can go watch Goodnight Mommy on Prime Video. In theaters, we have a few limited releases. First one I want to mention is Clerks 3, because this is only playing very limited time and it's only playing in certain cities. So I just want to mention Clerks 3 because I've heard some good things about it online from people that are obviously, obviously most of them are probably fans of Kevin Smith and the Clerks series. So they'll probably be a little biased, but I've heard good things about Clerks 3 that's come out. And it's Clerks 3 also very personal. It seems like Randall has a heart attack. The character of Randall has a heart attack, and he wants to make a movie about the convenience store he's been a part that obviously has been a big part of the Clerks movies. And he enlists, everybody, Dante, Elias, by Jay and Silent Bob. Also, obviously Kevin Smith wrote this after his heart attack. So this is kind of a love letter, I guess, to that as well. And there's a little tongue-in-cheek joke in the trailers about that, so that's pretty cool. All right, the other limited release in theaters is God's Country. This stars Thane Newton, of course, of Westworld fame, and many other things, but Westworld, obviously the thing that I think everyone knows her from, at least right now. When a grieving college professor confronts two hunters she catches trespassing on her property, she's drawn into an escalating battle of wills with catastrophic consequences. This is very good. Looks very, very good. Saw the trailer when it first came out. I'm a huge fan of Thane Newton and everything she's a part of and everything she's done. So this looks very, very good. It looks like a very suspenseful thriller at some point. I don't know what the catastrophic consequences are. That's in the synopsis. So we'll have to obviously wait to see what they do with that. But that's pretty cool. The other limited release in theaters this week is Silent Twins, based off the book by Marjorie Wallace, which itself is based on the real lives of June and Jennifer Gibbons. June and Jennifer Gibbons, a real-life identical twins who grew up in Wales, become known as the Silent Twins because their refusal to communicate with anyone other than each other. Letitia Wright, aka Shuri from the Black Panther movies, and Tamara Lawrence star as June and Jennifer respectively. I haven't heard too much about the movie, to be honest. I've heard little things here and there, but I hear that Letitia Wright and Tamara Lawrence are very, very good in it. So if you have a chance to go watch that, please let me know how that is, because I don't think any of my theaters around here are playing it. So I definitely want to see that, because especially considering I've heard good things about it. So let's get to the wider releases. See How They Run in West End 1950s London. Plans for a movie version of a smash hit play come to an abrupt halt after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered. The very impressive cast includes Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, David Oyelowo, Adrian Brody, and Ruth Wilson. I've been seeing trailers for this, not trailers, I've been seeing TV spots for this on TV recently, which is pretty cool because I haven't seen too much. If it wasn't for knowing that the trailer was out online, I would assume that this movie is really, really just flying under the radar, and there just wasn't enough money to market the movie, because I saw the trailer when it first came out online, and then nothing from it. And I totally forgot that it was coming out this week. Again, if it wasn't for the TV spots that I've seen here and there. So that's pretty cool. But this looks pretty cool. Looks like a whodunit. I think it is based, I don't know if it's based or if it's making fun of Agatha Christie's whodunit mysteries. So I think, anytime you take a crack at that, I think that's also pretty cool. And then you got Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan. It was like Sam Rockwell is the lead investigator, and Saoirse Ronan's like the new rookie cop that he has to take under his wing, and everybody else is playing an actor part of the play, or part of the movie version of the play. So that's pretty cool. Moving on, we talked about it briefly. Pearl comes out this week. Of course, the story of how Pearl became how she was in X. Mia Goth returns. Ty West also returns. Goth also, I guess, co-wrote the movie with Ty West. They did this movie right after they did X. Ty West and Mia Goth talked about it. Ty West was all on board of bringing Pearl back to the big screen and doing a prequel. Talked to Goth about it. Goth was on board with it. They stayed where they were. I think it was New Zealand where they were. And they took the production team of Avatar: The Way of Water, because they were also filming in New Zealand, on their off time. Like they weren't working anymore, or they had like a big break before they had to go back. And Ty West put in the call. He's like, "Hey, you guys want to come do our movie?" And they said yes, and that's how Pearl came to be. So this, yeah, like I said, this looks great. It looks creepy. We know how she turns out. We get little glimpses of maybe who she was beforehand, but now we're gonna see it, and I cannot wait to see this. Again, I've heard nothing but good things. People are saying it's just as good or better than X. Mia Goth is fantastic in it, so I definitely want to go check this out. And yeah, that's Pearl for you. But of course, the big movie coming out this week, I think the one that's going to predominantly take a lot of the box office, is The Woman King, an historical epic inspired by the true events of that happened in the kingdom of Dahomey. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if that's not how I pronounce it. I apologize. One of the most powerful states of Africa in the 18th and 19th century. This is directed by Gina Price Bythewood, who I'm assuming some people will know her as a director of The Old Guard, the Netflix movie. She's obviously done other stuff, but I think recently that's the thing that everyone will know her from. Stars Viola Davis, John Boyega, Lashana Lynch, and many more people. Of course, Viola Davis is the leader of that tribe, and John Boyega is the leader of that tribe, and she's the leader of the army, the woman army. That, of course, I'm pretty sure was the inspiration for Dora Milaje in Black Panther. So they were inspired by these group of women warriors, and obviously now we're seeing their story, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this looks really great. Heard nothing but good things about it, and everyone seems to be on board with it. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching this on the big screen. And I got nothing negative, not that I would say anything negative about the movie because I haven't seen it yet. But I got nothing else to say other than I'm looking forward to it. So The Woman King, Pearl, and See How They Run are your wide releases this week. Silent Twins, not The Silent Twins. Silent Twins, Clerks 3, and God's Country are your limited releases, and your movies on streaming are Do Revenge on Netflix and Goodnight Mommy on Prime Video. That is it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast this week. Hopefully, I'll get a little more better grasp of how to do this. Obviously, this is really kind of the first test run, really, of this new structure. I don't know how you guys see it, if you guys don't mind it, but obviously, I'll try to refine it as much more as possible as I can for future episodes. That being said, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast this week. I very much appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. Check out all the links down below. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of the trailers that came out this week. Please go check those out. There are some very good trailers down there. And of course, let me know what you guys think of everything, the news, trailers, everything, social media. I'm on there all the time. So if you want to go, chat it up, I'm there. Everything else is also linked down below where you can find the podcast, everything else. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast this week. I very much appreciate it. Once again, be sure to be safe, be good people, and as always, go watch some movies.
Whoop whoop! Yeah! Give it up! Movies!